right, here we are, back again, and this time I've got the Korg KARMA music workstation in front of me that we're going to talk about on this stream. And what I want to talk about is what is it? What does it do? What's special about this instrument? That kind of stuff, and then I'll go through some of my favorite sounds on here. We'll have some fun with this one. So let's answer the first question. What is it? So the Korg KARMA is a music workstation released by Korg in 2001. Now, it is called KARMA because the technology in here that I was using to generate the the percussion and some of the extra stuff that was happening is called KARMA. And that stands for, if I remember this right, K Algorithmic Real-Time Music Architecture or something like that. It was developed by a guy by the name of Stephen K. And put into this keyboard, and it's also a technology that's been used in many other Korg instruments. The Oasis, the M3, and the Kronos come to mind. And it is also available in software format for select other instruments. For example, if you go to the KARMA Lab website, you can download the software for use with the Korg Triton series, the Korg, let's see, you can also get it for the Korg M50, basically any of those instruments, and also for the Yamaha Motif series. Now, there's also software where you can edit in greater detail than what you can do on the keyboard, what the KARMA technology does. It's available for the KARMA, for the Oasis, the Kronos, I believe, as well as the M3 music workstations. So, at the heart of this instrument, the sound engine is identical to the Triton music workstation that was released in 1999. It is, I believe, 62 voices or 60 voices of polyphony. It uses Korg's what they call the HI or hyper integrated synthesis engine. It's basically a sample playback engine and consists of, let me see here, consists of two oscillators into, let me see, two filters, 2 amps, an LFO, and I think it's 2 LFOs. Yes, that's correct. And the effects engine is 5 insert effects, 2 master effects, as well as a 3-band master EQ. Now that's program mode, and what program mode is it's where you play single sounds. For example, if I wanted to just play a basic piano. So there's program mode, and then there's combi mode or combination mode. That is where you can layer and split up to 8 programs in one combination. And that's what I was playing earlier with this sound. So I will say if you already have a Triton workstation, whether it be the Classic, the Triton LE, the Triton Studio, the Triton Extreme, or the TR music workstation, which is essentially an upgraded Triton LE, you'll be familiar with a lot of the sounds on the Karma and the way this instrument sounds. It is the Triton engine. And matter of fact, a lot of the Triton sounds have been ported over into the Karma, in addition to there being some sounds, some programs and combis designed specifically for the Karma. And if you wanted to put more sounds in here, there is an expansion bay over here where you can stick 2 Korg PCM series. I think it's the EXP PCM cards. And those are readily available on eBay. And I want to say there's like 9 or 10 of them. You can also, if you can find it, get the EXP Moss board, which essentially drops a Korg Z1 or a variant of that into this instrument. This one does not have that because, from what I've gathered, the EXP Moss board has only gone up in value from when it was released. So, right now we'll go through a few of the programs, and then we'll go through a few of the combinations. The first one that I'll show off is the Noisy Stabber -Y, and when you see -Y or +Y, it's referring to the Y-axis on the joystick. So Y is up and down, X is left and right. So the joystick is pitch bend left and right. And then you have 2 different modulations, up and down. And both the up and the down modulations are easily assignable, as well as the left and right. And that's what happens when you turn Karma on this patch. So this patch comes right from the Triton. So there's a brief little demonstration of what Karma can do on some of these programs. Here is the acoustic piano. AT stands for Aftertouch. So if I turn on Karma, I get this. So when I engage the Aftertouch, which is essentially putting pressure on the keys after you've played them, you can trigger Karma that way. I find that cheating. No, not really. So basic Triton piano there. Again, if you do wind up picking up a Karma, or if you have a Triton, I recommend getting the piano / classic keys expansion board for that. While not top shelf pianos, they're going to be a bit better than what's built into here. What else we got? So we get some hits slash ARPs. Here's some strings. Now we turn Karma on. Let's see what we get. Okay, so scene 1, I'm getting an octave down from what I'm playing, from the lowest note. In scene 2, I'm getting an octave up. So I'm basically just stepping through the sounds here, and there's a few ways that I can do that, that I can go through the sounds. What I like doing on the Karma is I like selecting by category. So to do that, you basically press F8 over here, and these buttons here below the screen will correspond to the tabs on the bottom of the screen. For example, if I press F2, which is program edit, I can pull up 8 common sliders on the display that I can cursor down with the cursor buttons, and I can change. So for example, if I go back to the acoustic piano, I can grab the stretch. Essentially what that's doing is it's, if I stretch downwards, it is essentially transposing the keyboard. I think it's down, but then pitching it back up. So it's almost harp-like. If I go the other way, you get more of a guitar kind of sound with this. But in any case, if I press F8 and open up the utility, I then get a down arrow on F7. Right now it's selected right program, and this is how you would save your sounds. One way to do it. If you wanted to save your sound to a different location and rename it, that would be the way to do it. If you want to just keep it where it is and just update it with any of the changes that you've made, you can just simply press the record right button over here in the sequencer section. And we'll talk about the sequencer in a little bit. You press that and it just updates the program, and it asks you, are you sure you want to do this? And then you just press F8, which is okay. What I'm going to do now is cursor down here where it says select by category, and now I'm in the category section. So now I can just see the keyboards. No, that crackling is supposed to be there. It's supposed to sound like an old vinyl. I'll go through a couple more. Let's see. This one's got Karma activated. A lot of low end there. I will talk about the sound quality that I get from the Karma / Triton series. Let's see what other categories we have. Now, if I use the value up and down over on the left side of the screen, I can go through the categories. If I use the up and down arrows on the right side of the screen, I can go through the sounds. So that's the log drum. Let's see, what else we got? So strings, we heard the legato strings earlier. Here's the camera strings. Here's arco strings. Always like Korg's string sounds. Very nice sounds. We also have some vocal sounds. This is another strength of these Korg keyboards from this era is, I think, the some of the synth sounds. So anything like pads, ambient stuff, anything with motion. Korg has always excelled in that stuff. Let's see, we have any other cool... Let's hear that without the Karma. Okay, let's go into some. I'll do some guitar sounds a little later when we get to Combi mode. Let's try some basses. some really nice bass sounds in here. Here we go. Here is Pad Central. So let's check out some of these. And some of these have been copied over from the Triton keyboard. One of my favorite pads on here. It's almost got a vocal sound to it. I really like that a lot. Now we go to some fast synth. We already heard one, the Noisy Stabber in the fast synth category. What else we have? That one's very, very simple, similar to the Noisy Stabber. I want to say that's got a more, I don't want to say nasally kind of character compared to this one. This one seems bigger. So there's stuff like that. There's that's Cosmic Furnace with Karma. Without it, let's go into, we got some lead sounds. No, wrong one. Let's go to now, you heard a little bit of stepping in there with the portamento and the fast pitch bending. I think to me that's one of the weaknesses of the synth engine in here, as well as the Triton, is that stepping with the portamento. So unless I don't use portamento, and I really like using that on lead sounds, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically you're just gliding from one note to the next. I typically like mine a lot smoother than that. Let's see. You can really hear it there. And on a Keith Emerson inspired sound, that's really the last place I would want to hear any stepping in that portamento at all. And I've got other instruments where I can, generate that sound. Like I have a Hydrosynth Deluxe. I've got a couple Behringer instruments. I've got the Odyssey, the 2600, the Model D. So I can easily get that sound pretty much anywhere else that I want it. Here's the express lead. Okay, let's go to some motion sounds here. Let's hear this without Karma. So you can kind of hear there where Karma is really doing some kind of wacky stuff to the sound. Let's see. So there's a few programs. Before we get into Combi mode, I do want to talk a little bit about what Karma is. Most keyboards will have what is called an arpeggiator, and what that does is you can play a chord and it'll break up that chord and it'll create a pattern out of it. I'm doing it manually because I don't really quite have Karma set up to do that. Karma takes that to a whole nother level. And it does it in such a way where it takes incoming information, whether it be note information or information that we've done with the control surface. And this control surface, this section of the keyboard here, is dedicated to the Karma engine. And it'll generate note information and it'll play it back. Such is the case with the aftertouch on the acoustic piano. And if I want to see what each of these knobs and these two switches are doing, I can go in. I can go back to my main play screen and press F5, and that'll show me the Karma real-time control. And it's showing me that knob 2, for example, is pan. So it can generate stuff like that. If I go to, let's say, a guitar sound, Karma can generate some strumming patterns as well. And over here, I've got two scenes. And the scenes, what they do is they can memorize your settings that you've set with the control surface, the 8 knobs and the 2 switches here. And you can switch between them. So, for example, here's scene 1. Now we'll switch to scene 2. It gives me a higher strum pattern. Back to scene 1. So it kind of goes a little bit beyond what a normal arpeggiator can do. And some arpeggiators can do strumming patterns, but I don't think they're as sophisticated as what the Karma can do. So if you've got a Triton or the Korg M50, those have dual arpeggiators in them in combination mode. In program mode, you have a single arpeggiator. So Karma can also generate drum patterns. So if I were to go into, let's say, let's find a drum pattern here. And now let's see what I can do with it. So knob 1 is how complex is the rhythm. And as I move it up, it's very similar to Spectrasonic Stylus RMX. Knob 2 is the swing, so I can make it a completely straight groove. I could change the snare sound. We can have it do some like that. You could have it do some repeats. Then I can have it do some bending. So, some examples of what Karma can do just messing with the control surface. Now, that's program mode. Let's talk about combination mode or combi mode. So I'll go through a few of these, and then actually, you know what? I'll talk about what Karma can do in combination mode. Now, let me think here. How do I want to do this? Okay, if I go, let's see. Want to see, I believe there's 4 Karma modules in here, but I could be very, very wrong. Yep, there's 4. So, program mode uses 1 Karma module. Combination mode uses 4. So now we can get into generating drum grooves, bass lines, other things, all that sort of stuff. So stuff like that. If I go into some of the other combinations, we'll get different things. So for example, if I go to the ballad layer EP and turn Karma on, we get a drum groove. Go to scene 2, we get a bass line. So, yeah, some weird things. Sometimes, doesn't do a very good job at kind of following some of the chord patterns that I use, because I use a lot of these. I use a lot of chord inversions when I play. So, for example, play a C. Sometimes I like putting the E on the bottom, or sometimes I like putting the G on the bottom, and you basically get different chords. There's a couple extra ones. Oh, here's Karma Orchestra. What else we have? Okay, kaleidoscope. Now, there's a cool one in here. I can't remember where it was. Magic flute. So this one is going to have a flute sound up in the right hand. And in the left hand, it's going to have some finger picking guitar, some other stuff. And what's happening is those delay tails on the flute are actually following what chord I'm playing. If I move the joystick, I can simulate strumming with the joystick. Now, these pads here, these are chord triggers. So these are useful if, let's say, you want to play a lead sound with your right hand, but you also want to play chords and chord voicings that you really need two hands to play, you can set these up to do that. So let's see. So scene 2 is a little more on fire than scene 1 was for that. So I wanted to show that one off. Okay, this one's called All Was Lost. I'll show you one of my favorite sounds, and I'll play a little bit of a piece that's on my Walk in the Light album, which is available on Spotify and all online streaming services. And it has this sound, and I slightly modified the original preset by adding some elements to it. Let's say I want that guitar a little bit wider. I can do that. Let's go back to... Yeah, a little much. Let's go over to here. So what I did to the original sound was I added some extra chorus and I added a harp to it to kind of thicken it up a little bit. there's a little taste of what this keyboard is about. You heard some of what the Karma engine can do. You heard some of the sounds. So I want to give some thoughts about this instrument. Great sounding instrument. There is a tendency with the Triton series where it can sound too bottom heavy and almost thin at times. And a lot of that has to do with where the master EQ is set. And as an example, I want to go back to program mode and I want to grab a string sound. So we're going to grab a string sound. Actually, you know what? We're going to grab I'm going to grab an electric piano sound. This one's perfect. All right, so we'll grab this one. I find it really bottom heavy and out of balance, and a lot of the sounds on here have a pretty aggressive mid scoop on the master EQ. And I guess that's a thing. Like, that was a thing in like the late 90s, early 2000s. The Triton was used on a lot of hip hop and R&B and tracks, and I never ever I'm not a fan of mid scooping, at least not now. I might have liked it like when I first started, but I feel like you lose a lot of stuff. So what I like doing is I like reversing it. So what I want to do is I want to cut the lows a bit. And I want to cut the highs. But I want the mids boosted. Maybe not that much. I want to find that magic spot. There it is. Right around 3K. I want to drop. And I won't accentuate it that much. Go up another dB, and I want to take the low end down a dB. So to compare, this is what it was. And this is what it is now. So now this piano sound has a bit more presence to it that it didn't have before. And it has to do with those upper mids. Yeah, that's a little bit more pleasing to my ear at least, but everyone's ears are different. So you might hear this different than I do. But with this instrument especially, a lot of these programs and combis have an aggressively boosted low end, top end, and the mids really, really cut. The thing with EQ is a little goes a long way. I don't like doing any more than a 5 dB cut or, a 5 dB boost. And if I have to, then something isn't quite right with the way things are sounding before I even hit the EQ. So that's that taken care of. The issue with the synth engine. Like I said, a lot of accentuated lows and highs, and what I find works, the quick fix for that is to reverse that master EQ. Cut the lows, cut the highs, and boost the mids a little bit. Now let's get to the build quality. We have metal construction, but we have plastic ends. Constructed well, with the exception of I'm not a big fan of these plastic ends. They're actually hollowed out on the inside, and they're supported by some cross pieces of plastic. I had a Triton Extreme 76 that I bought as a dent and scratch, and it actually had a crack in one of the side ends. And eventually, I would say maybe about 6 months of playing out with it, even in a really good case, that crack ended up becoming nearly half of the side panel, like completely gone. So I would say if you got one of these, maybe fill it up with some epoxy resin, the side panels, and that should take care of that issue. The Keybed. I would say not the greatest synth action, but it's playable. I would say it's a decent action. The aftertouch is quite responsive. I'm going to go ahead and update this now, this program. And it was really quick to do that. Just hit the record right button, and then just hit OK. And then it's updated to where I like it. So now that I'm here, I'm curious as to where that master EQ is set on this. I think I want to go... I want that cut off on the high end. So you got a little bit of low end there. I'm going to cut that. I'm really going to flatten it, I think, with this sound. But I want to flatten it at 0. So we'll start there. And we'll see where we get. like that a lot. So what I'm finding here is the mid-range, where I have it set at that 3K, is really bringing the strings out quite nicely. So I'm going to keep that. But yeah, the Keybed is nice. Like I said, not the greatest synth action that I've played. That would probably still be the DX7 for me. A close second would be the Hydra Synth. That's got a beautiful Keybed. I mean, I still find this one quite playable. I do like playing on this Keybed. There's just others that I like a lot more, that I like more. So a couple other things about this instrument before we wrap things up. It does have a 3.5-inch floppy disk drive. This drive works, and it takes double-sided high-density disks, so 1.44 megs, and that is used to store things like your sequences and such. As far as storing big files like like the entire keyboard, it's probably going to be done across like several disks in order to do that. And I haven't actually tried it on here yet, but I would say that it's best to store sequences, things that you record into the sequencer. Speaking of the sequencer, I won't demo it today because it does get a bit involved, but what I can show you is, what I can tell you about it is it's a 16-track sequencer. It's 200 songs and 200,000 notes. There's also the song play mode where you can chain sequences together. So if you have one sequence that's like, say, the verse of your song, another one that's like, say, the chorus of your song, you can set it up like that. I actually started out, I had a Triton Extreme, and I was writing on that sequencer quite a bit. That one was easy to use because the Triton Extreme had the touch view display, so it was easier to get around the sequencer that way. But this has the RPPR, real-time pattern play and record, where you can assign a pattern to a key, like a drum pattern, a bass line, whatever you'd like, which is really, really cool. And the other thing that I can do with this is, let's say I find a sound, like a program or a combination like this sound here, and I'm inspired to record something right away. Well, Korg has a shortcut where if you hold Enter and press record on the sequencer, it will go into auto song setup, and it'll ask you, setup to record, are you sure? If I hit OK, it's going to copy the entire combination or program to the sequencer. And here I can set up, let's go 90 beats a minute. Keep it at high resolution because I can also automatically quantize it. And now I'm just going to hit the start stop button, and it's going to give me a 2-measure count in. And here we go. That's an idea that I have had kind of in the back of my mind for, I want to say, 3 or 4 months. I need to get it developed into something. Now if I press stop, I stop the recording. It's brought me back to the beginning, and now I can just play it. Now, what if I want to add something to that? Let's go to track 9. And I believe I have to go ahead and turn that on. Okay, so track number 9. All right, I gotta figure out why it is not playing. Let's go to MIDI. Yeah, MIDI channel 1. That's my global channel. That's fine. Let's go back to my sequence. Let's go up to... So it's kind of interesting that I don't have anything going on there. Well, let's figure that out. Okay, internal. Ah, it's turned off. So I have to turn it back on. And let's say I want a bass patch there. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and find... Let's go program 9 through 16. And I can go ahead and select by category like I did before. And we'll find a bass sound that'll go with this. Okay, I like that. I want to layer it with another one. So we're going to select by category again. And I'm going to put a... I'm going to go ahead and put the acoustic bass on track 10. Where are you? There you are. So now you're on track 10. Now I have to go back in and I need to turn that on. And I need to put that on MIDI channel 9. And then I also want to run it through some effects. So we're going to go into the bus here. And I want to see what's going on with my effects. So we have, looks like a... Looks like we have a couple of EQs. We've got a couple of parametric EQs. And then we also have... So let's see, what would happen if I took those and ran them to... Yeah, that's too much. Let's go ahead and let's go back here, insert effects, and now we get to more of the setup stuff. I'm going to go ahead and Turn some stuff down. And we're going to go back to the mixer and we're going to go ahead and turn it down a little bit. So if I go mix, let's try that. Now we'll go back and I'll go ahead and record this part. And then we'll wrap things up. Whoa, what happened there? Nothing really recorded, and I'm wondering why that is. Okay. So it's armed. I see. It is armed. Tracks 1, 4, and 6. So we'll go ahead and try this again. All right, now I'm going to unarm those. Now we're going to go back to track 9. I'm going to go ahead and arm those. Now let's see if this works. Try it one more time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, thanks for the comment. It does sound nice. So that's just a quick little demo of some of the things you can do on the sequencer. You can go in and edit. You can do some deep editing with like the notes and things like that. You can also add in, I believe you can add in some, I don't think you can do tone adjust on here. You can do, yes, you can. So you can do tone adjusting, all kinds of stuff on here. You can also record some things with Karma into the sequencer. A lot of things you can do with it. So that in a nutshell is the Korg KARMA. Like I said, it's I I used to play out with it. It's kind of been a studio piece right now. Like I said, I've used it quite extensively on my Walk in the Light album, especially with this patch. So just to kind of recap a couple things, the Triton engine, which exists in this instrument, it does tend to sound bass heavy and a little bit on the thin side. So what I showed earlier on in the stream was a way to fix that, which would be to go into the 3-band master EQ, which is in the Master Effects page, and reverse the curve. They have a tendency to boost the lows and the highs quite a bit and scoop the mids. I recommend boosting the mids a little bit and cutting the lows and cutting the highs a little bit. And with EQ, a little bit goes a long way. So other than that little thing, this thing sounds like really good. It can sound clean. It can sound a bit aggressive. Where I think it shines are, like I said, that particular guitar patch where you're not going for realism, where if you don't mind it sounding a bit synthy in a way, and a bit synthetic, which is what this is. It also shines in, I think, pads, anything with motion as far as synth sounds. Where I think it kind of lacks is in some of the finer details, like in the portamento within the synth engine. It's a bit, there's a bit of stepping in it, and I like my portamento to be smooth. But that's just me. So in a nutshell, that is the Karma workstation. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I see somebody just popped in. So I don't know when the next stream will be, but I got a request on one of the previous streams, and it might have been the CK88, to go ahead and review the MX61, the Yamaha MX61 that I have. That'll probably be the next one that I do. Again, I don't know when, but hopefully as my schedule allows, we'll go ahead and I'll pull that one out and I'll talk about what that instrument is all about. But like I said, just when my schedule allows. I just had a couple of days where I could go ahead and pull out the Karma, and then last night I pulled out the Alesis Quadrasynth. Which, as I said last night, the Quadrasynth is an very underrated instrument. I absolutely love that instrument. So, I guess one final thought on the Karma is, if you're looking for a way to get into the Triton engine, but you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, I got this for maybe $400, 400 US back in 2017. It's probably going for between 3 and 6, maybe a little bit more. And that's an inexpensive way to get into the Triton engine. If you want to go hardware. If you want to go software, Korg does have the software version of the Triton, as well as the Triton Extreme. I do find them a little bit CPU heavy, even on an i9 12900K. So I would just look out for that. And also the piano body damper effect on the software version of the Triton is not anywhere near as smooth as it is on the actual instrument. So just look out for that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you for tuning in, for those that have tuned in live. And if you're watching this on, if you're watching this after the live stream, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye-bye for now.